Just mentioned, Tom, temperatures expected to be around 40, and for the Chicago Bears, add that to a really good week of practice. Head coach Matt Nagy saying yesterday may have been one of their best practices this season. He said this week, we're loose, the guys are juiced, and he's reminding them, Colleen, to stay hungry and stay humble. Do not peak too soon, starting with the Eagles tomorrow.
Uh-oh, this is going to be an awesome matchup on Sunday afternoon. Stacy and Tom, thank you. Of course, the Eagles, no strangers to winning away from home. But, GC, I'm going to start with you here. Which road team has the best chance to pull off an upset this weekend? Because all of the seeds seem really, really close this year. Like, this is one of the best wild card weekends I can remember.
They're not much of upsets if you look at these. I mean, it's not like I think the Eagles are considered the biggest underdog here. I'll go with the Colts, though. Okay, this team, the way they started 1-5 this season and then have really turned it on. Big plays offensively. Andrew Luck playing well. He's got that shortened delivery this year, and he seems to have gotten more comfortable with that as far as throwing the football down the field. He's throwing a really good deep ball. I like the Colts because Steve talked about it a little earlier. A lot of times you know the division guys better than you know everybody else. You play them a third time. I'll give these guys the puncher's chance to pull off the upset here.
This is Chris Ballard's year. What a great job he's done with this team. And now you have Andrew Luck back in the playoffs. This team is rolling right now. Steve, what do you think?
For me, I go with the Eagles just because they are a more balanced team with Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a great game manager. He understands his deficiencies. He understands his strengths. There's a lot of games where you'll see Nick does not do as great as Carson Wentz, but they eke out the wins still. That just lets me know that he's still a guy who understands what he needs to do, unlike Carson Wentz, who's still a young guy who hasn't really established himself, and his team really depends on Carson Wentz way too much for his arm and less on the run game. When Nick Foles is in the game, they run the ball more efficiently, more consistently, and they run in the RPOs than just POs with Carson Wentz. That's pass option for some of you guys that don't know.
And a lot of those guys have really come alive with Foles in there, like Alshon Jeffrey for one, but just like some of those touch passes
but
that Foles have.
Alshon is not going to get a lot of targets with Nick Foles just because they're a different team, more well-balanced team as well.
Yeah, guys, for me, the biggest upset, and I don't think it's an upset, but it's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers coming over here to Baltimore.
That they're
a possibility. I don't know about my pick yet. It's a possibility. But, guys, it's all going to come down to whether Phillip Rivers can handle these blitz packages of Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore blitzes almost, 40% of the time, good for third most in the National Football League. Last week, they blitzed Baker Mayfield 22 times, forced 3 interceptions for a 2.5 passer rating. Phillip Rivers, he hadn't been great versus the blitz this year. Only 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions he's thrown versus the blitz. So this game is going to come down to those pressure situations, and if Phillip Rivers can handle it.
You know Wink's bringing heat.
Oh, you already know.
So you got all those guys in line of scrimmage. Who's dropping out? Who's staying? They've done a fantastic job of that this season.
I think every single road team has a chance to do it, including the Seahawks, too, who we haven't even mentioned here.
Are you picking them?
I'm going to go. All right, fine. I'll go with the Seahawks.
There you go.
Nobody else is taking them. I'll take them. I think they match up. Well, they mirror the Cowboys.
Oh, really? No one else is taking them?
Well, no, just in this discussion, you took the Eagles. I'm going to take the Seahawks here because I think that they match up really well with the Cowboys. They're very, very similar to this team. They both have the power run game. They both have quarterbacks that they struggle to protect. They both have quarterbacks that are really good in the fourth quarter, too. So I think that this game is going to be a close one. I think it'll come down to the end, and it's probably going – I mean, I trust the team that has the better coach and the better quarterback.
Look at Colleen over here educating our listeners. I'm over here like, wow.
I might be sick, but it doesn't matter.
What you saying about Jason Garrett, huh? Who you saying about? What you saying about Jason Garrett?
She said a lot about Jason Garrett.
I know, without saying his name. Said a lot.
Wow.
Whoa. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Ezekiel Elliott here.
Time of the week. It's time for the Real Mike Rob Report. All week, I answer your questions on my social medias. Then I come in studio and answer them on live television. First question up. Y'all ready for it?
Yep.
Let's go. All right. What's up, Tyler? Okay, who has the better game against the run? The Cowboys front seven or the Seahawks front seven? Ooh, that is a great question because you know I won my Super Bowl with the Seahawks, so it's hard for me to go against them. But what I'm going to say is I think it's the Cowboys, man. I think the Cowboys front seven, they've been balling out of control right now. The Seahawks, they've had some injury issues. KJ Wright hadn't been there all season. They're working themselves back into their way of doing things. But this Cowboys defense, led by those two linebackers in the middle, Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, those guys are off the chain. So I have to give it to the Cowboys. Next question, what do we got? All right, what's up, Sam? Big Mike, what's up, dog? What are your odds for an undefeated underdog weekend? Sound like you might got some money on this stuff, huh? Well, I don't know about the odds, but I tell you one thing. Every single road team this particular weekend has a great chance of winning. I think the NFL got it right. The football gods got it right this year. We have so many teams that are very close. I don't know what the odds are going to be, but I'll tell you one thing. Every road team does have a great chance to win. Next question. What do we got? Okay, what's up, Christian? Which home crowd will give the biggest advantage to their team? Hashtag Real Mike Rob Report. Oh, man, I tell you one thing. I've been in all the stadiums that are playing in this wild card weekend, and I'm telling you, this Chicago Bears team, this Chicago Bears atmosphere, city, and stadium, and weather is going to be a little bit below 40 degrees around kickoff, so I would have to give it to the atmosphere of the Chicago Bears. We got more questions? Next question up. What do we got? Mark, what do you got, Mark? Hey, Mike, if you were a free agent and had to pick any team and quarterback to play with, assuming you were all offered the same contract, which team and QB would you choose and why? You see me reading this slow because I was thinking. Let me tell you something. For me, how can you not be enamored by Deshaun Watson? You know, I think he is the best young quarterback in the National Football League. If I'm a wide receiver, I'm a free agent, I'm going there. He's young. He's still on his rookie contract. And then look at the defense. They can stop almost any offense in the National Football League. I like Deshaun Watson, guys. What y'all think? How did I do?
I like it.
Good? I got another question, Cody. What's up? Another question. What do we got? Oh, of course, Cody, our producer, is going to throw a question up there. Who's a better dresser, Steve Smith or Mike Garafolo?
Answer wisely.
Answer wisely, huh? Well, Steve basically punked all of us in the first block, so I'm going to have to go with Steve because he said only he can hold stuff down on the front.
That's why.
I got to go with Steve.
You're going to have Mike and Jess after
That's why, guys. Hey, look, I just want to be able to go back to the desk without any problems.
Hey,
I love you, boss. I love you, boss. Love you, dog. That goes to you, Colleen.
You can come back here with no problems, but the next time you're around my wife, you're going to have some serious problems.
I'm sorry.
That's my wardrobe.
Steve won this little competition, but Jeezy, I secretly like you. So go ahead.
Everybody's the best dressed. How about that? Everybody wins. Everybody counted out the Seahawks and the Cowboys after 5 games, yet here we are. What to watch for in Dallas tonight coming up. And the Texans, another team people doubted in September, but